Hi guys, Professor Gustavo here. Today let's take a look at some chokes from the technical mount, okay? People call technical mount or modified mount, side mount, it's all the same, okay? I did a video before, a few days ago, about escaping the technical mount. Today let's see some attacks from here, okay? So, when technical mount is when my opponent is on his side, okay, on this type of situation here. If he's flat on his back, of course I have my regular mount. Anytime that he goes to his side, if I don't switch to technical mount, it's too easy for him to catch my foot and start putting me into the half guard, okay? And if the guy is too big, 300 pounds, his hip is gonna be this high here. So my knees are gonna be floating in the air even easier now, right? So anytime the guy goes to his side, I modify my mount in order to accommodate myself and maintain a good mount control. And I establish the position here by having my hip aligned with his shoulder, okay? So then if I go for the arm bar, my hip is in the correct place. I'm not too low where there is no arm bar, there is nothing here, right? If I want to take his back, I can lock my seat belt, my chest is behind his back. All the attacks come from this position here. So first attack, or most of the attacks, I want to have my arm underneath his arm here, okay? If I have my arm under his arm, again, arm bar, I can lock my seat belt and take his back, and I can work the chokes here. First choke, first option, I'm going to open his lapel, and I'm going to feed to this hand. This hand comes around the neck. My hand makes a curve here, right, my wrist. This is the same curve that's going to fit around his neck. It makes the shape of his neck, okay? So I open his gi, I flip the lapel, and I get my hand, my wrist connected to his neck with that curve. Now I feed the lapel to my hand, okay? It's important to flip the gi so my fingers, they fit perfectly. I have a grip, actually, right? If I don't flip the gi, my grip is not really that good. Flip the gi, curve against his neck, feed to my hand, it's already tight. First option, old school choke. This was the first choke that I learned as a white belt. I shoot my arm deep through, I get behind his neck. The back of my hand also makes the shape of his neck, of his head. I'm going to extend my arm, driving his chin against his chest. Okay, that's the motion. It drives his neck against the choke. I posture up using my back muscles, and I have the choke. I pull the choke, drive his head against the choke, right? Classic old school choke. Second option, I cannot get my arm all the way deep now. He's pinching kind of his elbow against his ribs. I go for a classic collar choke. I control now the bottom lapel. The bottom lapel, right? This hand never changed. This is the choking hand. What's going to change is this hand. Could be here, could be there, could be on the knee. Control the bottom lapel. I pull the bottom lapel towards his hip to remove all this slack, and now I pull the choke. Okay, very simple choke. It's the same choke that we do from the back. Okay, important now to see that with these chokes, what's the goal here? It's not letting the guy go belly down and keep turning, because if I only have my choking hand here and my arm is not underneath his arm, if I do like this, for example, he can just roll and unravel the choke, okay? So the hand here under his arm prevents him from going belly down. Go belly down, he gets stuck. Turning to me, he's turning into the choke. He got stuck here. It's the same reason of this hand here on the lapel, right? If he tries to turn belly down, I'm controlling the lapel. He gets stuck. Another option, my choking hand is, I'm trying to get my choking hand, and he's killing my hand here. He doesn't let me control his lapel. So I'm going to shoot my arm, the other arm, under his arm again, and I shoot all the way through, almost like an arm triangle. As I shoot all the way through, I control my sleeve, and I have my Ezekiel choke here, right? Important for the Ezekiel choke, of course, find his neck here. I don't want to press down against his jaw. Find his neck. And most of the choke is going to come from my bottom arm. It's kind of 70% the bottom arm, 30% the top hand. The top hand just frames there, and I pull the bottom arm, right? I was trying to work the choke here. He's killing my hand. I shoot my other arm through. Control my sleeve. Ezekiel choke. Push, bottom arm does most of the job. Now, if I'm working here, I get my hand. I'm trying to work my hand on his collar here, but he keeps his elbow tight, right? I cannot get my arm through under his arm, okay? So that's a good option now to go for the bow and arrow. If I cannot get under his arm, I still set up the choke here. And now I'm going to control his knee for the same reason, so he doesn't go belly down unraveling the choke. Control the knee. I'm going to sit down, flaring my foot to the outside as I throw my leg over. It could be over his arm, trapping his arm here, which is great. Or if his hand was already there trying to break my grip here, I throw over the arm, over the shoulder, crisscross, and then we have the bow and arrow. I pull the knee, I pull the choking hand, and we have the choke there. Most important thing here is once I get my grip, it's not flaring my elbow out, right? If I flare my elbow out, I miss his head, right? So the whole time, when I get my grip, my elbow immediately, I bring closer behind his neck, close to my hips, so I don't miss his head. And also, I don't want to sit down pulling the guy on top of me, right? Otherwise, I'm going to have to chase him, and he might scramble out of this position. So what I want to do is, once I set up my choking hand, controlling his hand, as I sit down, I pull his head down here. I keep his head low by just extending my arm, doing a tricep extension here. I keep his head there as I move my leg, and then we have the choke here. Variation for that bow and arrow is me controlling here. Instead of sitting down and shooting my leg over his shoulder, I'm going to do a mini squat and bring my shin behind his neck. Okay, also a very old school choke. Make sure that my shin comes inside here, inside of my forearm, not on the outside. So I do a mini squat, my shin behind his neck. Pull the knee, pull the choking, drive my shin behind his neck. Okay? Same idea as before. Keep his head low. I keep pushing his head down towards the mat as I do my squat, right? I don't want to bring the guy all the way on top of me, right? Keep his head low. And the last option is, I am here again. I got my arm underneath his arm. I'm trying to work my choke, and he keeps killing the choking hand. So let's transition to the gift wrap position. I punch his elbow. I trap his wrist, okay? I have an instructional video already explaining all the details from this submission here, which is the triangle choke. I'm going to put a link on the description, but let's take a quick look. I trap the guy into the gift wrap. I'm going to control his bottom hand here, killing that hand, putting weight so I can step over. Release his hand, controlling my ankle, and we are in the triangle position. My leg is in between his arms, right? I pose my hand, swing my leg all the way around, lock my figure 4, and we have the triangle here. Put all my weight behind his tricep, pull his head up, and we have other options too. All right, so there we have 6 options from the technical mount.